This is a recalibrate, finding our north again. And that starts, with our identity of our club. So no, you will not hear me say the word rebuild at all. This is about assessing what we have, how do we add to that, and then how quickly we can accelerate this process together. Now, how do you do that? Connection, staff, off-season, into training camp, and then ultimately putting all these guys to find the best group to help us go play as well as we can.
Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
All right, approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in Defeating the Curse Super Bowl edition, the Dan Quinn edition, the Kliff Kingsbury edition, the Bienemy is Gone edition, the Prop Bet edition.
Why you gotta take a cheap shot? Why? The guy's gone.
Your guy?
Come on, have some sympathy.
He interviewed for the job, then he was denied to go back to the Chiefs for their Super Bowl run.
As long as you don't take the
Is that official? I was waiting for him to go meet up with him in Vegas.
Which part?
He might be going to Vegas. He ain't meeting up with the Chiefs.
No, the part I thought he'd rejoin the Chiefs and help out with the Super Bowl prep.
Help out with what? The game's in no. Maybe he's babysitting Pat Mahomes Sr. in Texas. Maybe that's.
Hey, come on! Don't start with a low blow.
Joe's on fire.
Let's go around the table here. Let's just say hello. We guys, we have so much to talk about. It's a late start. I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty tired, but I'm also drinking some I don't know. My wife made me some herbal energy tea or something, so we'll see how this goes. But Stevie, it's good to see you. You wanted to start with Putin. Would you like to start there?
I just said if the Tucker Carlson interview with Putin drops, I'm just going to drop off.
Go ahead and give us your 2 or 3 kind of, Stevie takes now, just in case we have to go, and I'll slice them in later.
Tucker Carlson was seen driving out of the Kremlin.
Sports guy, give us the sports ones. What are your sports takes for the show? Do you have any sports takes for this show this week?
I'm all in on the Niners and drunk Kyle.
Okay. And then now back to Tucker. Are you?
Tucker Carlson interviewed Putin, apparently, according to Alex Jones, credible source, Infowars.com. It was a 2-hour
I gotta
interview.
say, what would Stevie from like 3 or 4 years ago say to this right now?
That would be fun. That would be
so fun. Actually, I mean, I would love to see that interaction between 4 years ago Stevie and current.
It's called evolution, brother. Okay.
Oh, this is
it's called the recalibrate.
Yeah, recalibrate. Finding true north.
Bringing it home, Razzle.
Very nice. Razzle, it's good to see you. I think you have you were actually, this was the most excited I remember you in the green room, behind the scenes chat, whatever, leading up to the show with the prop bets and kind of getting ready.
No, I'm ready. The problem is the game is too close. The game is pretty much a pick 'em, so we gotta find different ways to put. I was looking at the MVP odds. It's very quarterback heavy, but if you look at recent years, the Super Bowl MVP hasn't necessarily gone to the quarterback. If you think 2 years ago it was Cooper Kupp, Julian Edelman. I like Kelsey, with the storybook, ending to the season. It was like plus 30. It was like 33-1. I sprinkled in a little Isaiah Pacheco if he gets.
How many bets have you already put in?
I've only put in a couple bets for a Super Bowl MVP because in Virginia they don't allow you to, so I had to cross the border over to Maryland.
How did you do in the 20? How did you do in the football season? What was your net?
My account still has money in it, so
that doesn't.
He's cooking the books.
It's a solid
I bet he's over minus 175.
Yeah,
no,
I don't know. It's been a rough season.
I lost that in a week.
Yeah.
The only person that consistently makes money, and I give him credit because he's always posting it in the chats, is our guy FP. This guy's always
gets those first touchdowns.
He's huge on these. So my theory though is he's putting in like 10 of them a game, and then he's
No.
only sharing the one that hits.
No, I'm putting in one, and it's always you have to just watch the first drive. Because those first 15 scripted plays,
Everyone's got a formula. Here we go.
Very
Take
clearly
notes.
see what's going to happen, right? When you watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, you can either see if they're going to go Pacheco strong or Kelsey strong. And before they get in the red zone, place that bet. It'll probably hit.
Oh, so you're making the bet like
I'm making it
moments
during
before.
the drive. You have to make it before they get in the red zone.
I didn't know that.
He has FiOS. Here's the thing. He has FiOS.
See, I'm not a cable guy.
He's pretty live. He's not like us on YouTube TV.
You know what? That might be the best argument to date for why regular cable or like some form that's not streaming or YouTube or Fubo or whatever.
Yeah,
makes sense.
You can place the bet before it gets suspended.
That's an interesting one. I didn't think of that, FP. I didn't think of that. FP, okay, let's talk about Dan Quinn. Let's talk about the backwards hat and the account changing the emoji or whatever, and the press conference. I mean, we played a clip here at the jump when we came in. There's another soundbite. We could probably play it later on. I know that you enjoyed as well about doing hard shit with good people. What did you make of the press conference, the announcement, and the staff as he's now building it out? He obviously pillaged. A lot of faces from Dallas are coming in here. The last time we saw this legit was, I think, Norv. When Norv came, he brought along 3 or 4 assistants as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we've seen this before.
Yeah. Well, you saw it with Ron, but he just brought in a bunch of losers.
Yeah, no one cares. Yeah. That's a name I never want to hear again. Yeah. But what was your thought on DQ and the presser?
The biggest takeaway that you take from the presser is that it converted you within minutes of watching the presser. You weren't the biggest fan of the Quinn hiring. You weren't the biggest fan of the Kliff hiring. But when you watch that presser, if it converts you, it means something, right? Because when you see the way that Quinn talked to Peters and they kind of had like a connection, and the word they threw around a lot was lockstep. It's amazing to see that while they're sitting next to the owner. You never got that under Snyder, right? You never had.
We never got the
3 top guys sitting together talking. And kind of jiving and making jokes. Did
you watch the entire presser?
Watch the whole thing.
Razzie, did you watch the whole thing?
I watched most of it. It
was a long presser. I think it was like
long. I was surprised.
It's a dangerous question, but Stevie, did you watch it?
Come on, man. Come on. Come on.
Perfect political no answer.
Yeah.
I was watching Theo Vaughn probably instead. Okay, gang.
Yes, got it. Razzie, how did you feel about that presser? I mean, I'll pause here. I'll come in with my opinion in a second, but FP was on the DQ train before the presser.
Yes.
He was excited about the hire. He didn't feel like they were settling. What was your take?
No, I got on right around midway through the presser. The one thing I did love is how many times, Adam Peters took like questions and how he answered things. Josh Harris sat there pretty quiet, which is very surprising for a new owner. Usually these new owners want to come in, they want to show how big they are and how tough they are, and they want to put their stamp on the franchise. Josh Harris is taking a different approach. He's like, I'm going to hire people who know what they're doing. He brought in the basketball guys, to help him out. And then, he's got Adam Peters in place. Him and Dan Quinn are going to have the perfect combination, the perfect relationship between GM and head coach. And I think what, brought me over the edge was hiring Kliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator.
Great.
This guy, all he wants to do, he doesn't want to be a head coach. He doesn't want to deal with the BS. He doesn't want to manage games. The guy loves designing offenses. The guy loves working with his quarterbacks. He has a long history of relationships with quarterbacks.
And a supermodel girlfriend. He's good.
And his house in Arizona was.
In the house in Arizona. There you go. He might be putting it for sale, Joe. He might call you. But the thing I'm excited about is he's not good. What we were worried about with the defensive coach is that he's going to cycle through offensive coordinators because the offensive coordinator is going to leave for a new job. Kliff isn't really going to be in the market for a head coach.
Yeah, short of them like setting league, records on offense.
Right.
Playoffs.
He's not going to be. He's not going to come back.
It also helps that Kliff is still getting paid for the next 4 years by the Cardinals. So
that's a good point too. I don't know if that stops happening though when he's re-signed by someone else. I'm not sure.
He's still getting paid.
I think so too.
He still gets paid.
Yeah.
If anything, there might be like a rebalancing or something, or basically they
deferment
covered
or,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of baseball money magic.
Yeah, I said it a couple weeks ago. Like I moving forward, I'm going to ask everyone to hold me accountable. I don't want to talk about the money paid out because it's not my money and it really doesn't make a difference, right? Like they made him an offer, or DQ called him and said, hey, come get dirty with me in DC, and he said, okay, let's do it. And it's hard to imagine a scenario where you go from Scott Turner to EB to now Kliff, and the offense doesn't improve, right? Like the bar is pretty low. Steve, I don't know if you have a take on this or if you have any thoughts on Kliff.
I mean,
Do you know who Kliff Kingsbury is, Steve?
I don't. And y'all are suckers. Okay, that's what I know. I don't know, Kliff. I know you all are suckers. You fell for the one little Redskins video where Quinn walks in and everyone's clapping and Adam Peters says this.
Your guy Jason Wright was in that video. Do you see?
Jason Wright in the background.
The full.
Did you notice that Jason Wright said it's nice to meet you when he was right there? He had nothing to do with any of the interview process, and he was meeting him right there. On the
Somebody had to wake up Doug Williams for that too.
Hey, that's my guy. That's my guy. Listen, y'all are burying the lead on Kingsbury, which is the most potent sign that they are really looking at Caleb Williams. I mean, that hire, it can't be any more obvious. The week before, Caleb Williams comes out and says he won't play in Chicago. Then the next week they hire Kliff Kingsbury. That, I think, this is going to be a disaster.
Posted about it. Caleb Williams posted about it on social media.
But this is where I get really scared, right? Like
of course.
I shifted very.
Why would you get scared?
Because the last time they were in the number 2 spot, or they traded a decade away to draft RG3. I mean that's
and it was worth it.
No, what? No, it absolutely wasn't worth it for a season and a half.
What universe are you living in?
Oh my God!
Listen,
Razzle, you need a new humidifier. Okay, that dry air is getting to you. Okay,
get this guy a humidifier. Like, this is insane.
No, but Joe, you can't bring up the RG3 trade, because that was for us to go mid-round to 2, not to go from 2 to 1.
It doesn't.
You're not going to have to give up a lot to go from 2 to 1.
A zillion picks.
But what's happening
they weren't in the top 5 is FP's point.
Yeah, what's happening here is you're getting Caleb saying, I don't want the Bears. So you're going to have the equivalent of Eli saying he doesn't want the Chargers.
You are getting a prima donna quarterback who has shown erratic behavior. He cries after he loses.
Yes,
he's into the game.
Even if you get past it, I'm saying if any of us are the GM making that call, you can't give up. You can't give up like 3 high draft picks in this draft and another 2 next year.
Not to move up one spot.
No.
Listen, the Bears did this exact same thing
The
last
going
year.
price.
Weeks.
This is the current rumor. The going price is you flip your ones, you give them the pick you got for Sweat, and at most
your 3.
you go next year's 1.
That's
That
a
is
lot.
too high.
That's
I
a
agree.
lot.
No. I agree that's too
Not
high.
if we win the division next year.
If the team erupts and goes Houston Texans, sure. But no, I agree that's too high. But
Why
you have
not?
to remember,
the Texans just built the formula for us.
easier said than done. But the important thing to realize is,
yes, Caleb. Hold on. Do you think Caleb is CJ?
I was going to ask that question.
A lot of people going into the season weren't too high on CJ.
Don't talk to you. Do you make that deal to trade up 1 spot for Caleb?
If I'm giving up the 2nd round pick from Chicago, the Montez Sweat pick, and another 3rd or 4th round pick, yeah, absolutely. Just for them, because they're gonna trade back from that 2 anyway. They're just gonna keep accumulating more and more assets. They don't want a quarterback. They're gonna try to go in with Justin.
I believe that's the more prudent move here, because you're more than a quarterback away. And I think you need to fill out. I understand, like, this argument.
You're saying we should trade out? You're saying
100%. 100%.
If you look at that picture of Drake May next to Howell, come on, man.
Okay, but you can get Drake at 2. You can get Drake at 3.
Yeah,
you can get him at
but what I'm
6.
thinking-
Then you're not getting more picks. You're not
going to get him.
You could.
I think Caleb Williams is a huge risk.
He's a huge risk if you still have Snyder as your owner. And if you still have Ron,
you don't have a real GM.
No.
you need so much more. Like you put anyone behind the offensive line that was out there last season, they're not going to be very good.
Listen, the thing is, nobody knows what's going to happen with the draft. But what I will say is Kliff Kingsbury, while he was the mentor, whatever his position was,
the coordinator.
He wasn't the coordinator for USC. He was like a special assistant,
offensive assistant,
game assistant or something. Yeah,
his connection to Caleb is there, but he also has a connection to Phil Longo, who coached Howell and May at UNC. See, none of you guys know this. Kliff has a huge connection with the UNC coaches that coached both Howell and May. So it's not written in stone that you're going to trade up for Caleb or whatever.
But don't you? Doesn't a part of you just want them? Doesn't a small part of you want to see what Sam looks like with Kliff?
Yeah,
no, you're going to see it regardless.
I don't want.
Sam's not going anywhere.
I'm with Steve.
Sam Howell. After seeing that picture next to Drake May, I don't want anything to do with it.
I'm cut up because Razzle's one of the most loyal people I know. The fact that he's turning his back on Sam Howell, that hurts me.
I was never on the Sam Howell. Sam Howell made sense last year.
You have to zero in on what Kliff has done. Kliff has coached Mahomes, right? He coached Johnny Manziel. He coached Baker. He has taken some really good quarterbacks in college.
And Kyler in the pro level.
Kyler wasn't really his product,
but he's tiny also. Like he's a small quarterback.
Yeah, but what argument are you making, FP? You're making my argument.
No, I'm saying Kliff can do it with any of the QBs.
Can you do it with Justin Fields?
Okay,
nobody's
wait. Let FP make the argument.
Can you do it with
Kliff? Can do it with any QB. So yes, you can still see it with Howell, but the point is, you still need a second QB. You still need some competition for Howell.
Fine, or you trade down to 4 or 5, get your franchise left tackle.
Yes.
Let Kingsbury develop Sam Howell. Fine. You want to bring in you already have a backup, a veteran backup, but you want to bring in someone to compete. Fine.
Circles. You don't waste the number 2 overall, and you're not going to get trade value for it.
We have the second overall pick on average, like every 3 seasons.
We used to.
Okay. No, thank you, FP. If you're thinking of a new recalibration of the franchise,
does anyone actually believe that? It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild.
Okay, you need a quarterback. You need a centerpiece. You have the number 2 pick in a year that there are 3 quarterbacks on the top.
What has Howell shown you and Stevie? What has Howell shown you?
Are you kidding me?
Hold on. Don't give me passing yards. That is a negative point.
That's the EV offense stat.
This is the easiest question.
Passing yards. What has Howell shown you?
He stayed upright all season.
Okay.
He survived. Andrew Wiley.
He played better than most rookies do when they come into the league, kind of thrown into an offense, especially he has no running back help for the most part. I know people love B-Rob, but he's not a stud.
B-Rob was like top 5 in scoring this year.
B-Rob is terrible. You know
terrible.
that. FP.
Hold on. And the defense that's supposed to be supporting him as well was non-existent.
It's trash. FP, when the team was competent, those first 6, 7, 8, 10 weeks of the season, they were competitive. Sam Howell eye test. You know it better than I do. He made every throw that needed to be made, and he made plays off script. He did everything that a starting quarterback can do.
100%. You know what the actual problem with Sam Howell was last season? Eric Bieniemy's playbook had 7 plays in it. And once everybody saw them after week 1 and week 2, and maybe half of week 3 when they challenged the Eagles and almost won that game, that was it.
Okay.
There was
I can't believe this group.
Fair point.
Go ahead.
But if you were to remove Sam Howell and insert Patrick Mahomes, are you happier?
Sure.
Okay.
What a ridiculous statement.
What's your number one?
No, you say Caleb Mahomes.
You're happier.
Number 1 comparison is Patrick Mahomes. He has Kliff Kingsbury saying it. He has
you cannot compare the Commander's offensive line with any you can't.
And then you build the offensive line.
But you're not going to have.
I think what do we have? 4
last
time 4 picks in the top 100 or 3 picks in the top 100, something like that.
The last time the Skins as a franchise spent the last 2 times they spent a high draft pick on an offensive lineman. Do you remember who they were?
Chris Samuels and
Samuels
Trent
and
Williams.
And how long did they collectively play? And how many
45 years. God bless them both.
Did they make look like studs that were complete trash bags?
What studs outside of Kirk did we
Jason
have?
Campbell wasn't serviceable.
No, Jason Campbell was terrible. What world are you living in that Jason Campbell was serviceable?
I mean, he was good enough
we
for
need
a
to recalibrate this podcast.
Goodness.
Coaching hire. We need.
Who was the left?
I got a
Jason
Samuels
Jason
jersey
Campbell.
right here.
Who was protecting RG3 and Kirk's blind side?
Trent Williams.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
he's still in the league.
Who got
the MVP? Put
who
my
got
money
their
on
knee
MVP
broken?
Super Bowl.
Who got their knee broken?
All Joe is saying is to say it's a wasted pick on a
Haskins,
franchise left
trash.
tackle is not true.
RG3 out of the league. Like, what are you talking about? It's such a gamble. Just look at the
RG3
last.
out of the league when he had Trent.
My point is your margin for error when you draft quarterback that high is tremendous. It's tremendous.
Very risky.
We literally had this exact conversation. What
So
gold
why not
brain are you bringing to this podcast?
My head hurts.
Everybody in the
I've said it
playoffs
for like
is
100
first-round pick
weeks in a
quarterback.
row. Do exactly what the Bears did last year. Exactly.
What
Exactly.
in your brain
The
makes
Bears
you want
had
to act
no. Wait,
like the
hold
Bears?
on. The
What in your
Bears
world
had a
makes you think I
solidified
want the
quarterback
team to be
that they had drafted high and invested a lot in.
No, Joe.
Sam Howell was not
Razzie,
brought to the field.
The Bears, they were not sold on Matt Eberflus. They were not sold on Justin Fields. They decided to give them another season and traded the number one overall pick to Carolina to guarantee that they would suck again and that they would get the first overall pick again. The Commanders can do the exact same thing right now.
No, they got lucky that Carolina sucked again.
I need you to take
Carolina's pick.
Joe. I need you
Take
to
Atlanta's pick. Take the Patriots pick. There's enough bad teams out there that need a quarterback that you can move back one spot or two, take their first next year, give Sam and Kliff one season together, and then if it's not their
It's a waste. It's a waste. We have a brand new ownership group.
Class. This is the quarterback draft class you want. You don't want next.
Yes, and we have a brand new ownership group.
Why?
You're a brand new GM.
Why?
You're a brand new head coach. You pretty much have a brand new name with the Commanders or whatever. Whatever Josh Harris could change the name to because he clearly won't call it. But the point is, why? Like you're not going to gain anything by running it back another year with Sam Howell.
Yes, you can. You might get a guy on an easy contract, on a team friendly contract. That's actually
we're not.
That
works for a team that's working for the Super Bowl.
If he was 15th best quarterback last year, and he has the potential to be the 10th best quarterback this year, and you at the same time can fill out every hole you have in your roster with the draft picks that you're not spending on quarterback, like get to a point where you're only missing the quarterback, not some of these other teams.
That's Ron Rivera talk. That's Ron Rivera talk. Don't tell me we're a quarterback away and we're going to build up the roster around.
Well, you're not. Right now, you're everything away.
What has every team
name a team that's done that successfully? Build up everything and then got the quarterback. Name.
I mean, the Texans might be a good example of that right now. What did you say?
Went and got their quarterback. They used
their they didn't have it. They're a very young team that overachieved.
I mean, we did this a couple of weeks ago when we looked at all of the playoff teams, with the exception of 3 quarterbacks that were high first round picks. All of the others were late.
No, all of them were 1-1 or 1-2, Joe.
Stafford, Goff.
Goldfish memory, Joe. They
No,
were
dude,
all
it was
1-1 or
Stafford.
1-2.
No, it was Stafford. It
Oh
was
my
Stafford,
goodness.
Goff.
I
Mahomes
have
was a late
notes
first.
here.
Who else was a 1-1?
Not a 1-1, but top 3. Give me top 5 quarter.
Here, Lamar was your
Baker.
1.
Mahomes wasn't top 3. Come on.
Josh
he was top 10. He was like
Josh
a 10th or
was
12.
listen,
Something like that.
I got it right here. Josh was 1-7. Mahomes was 1-10. CJ 1-2. Flacco 1-8. Tua 1-5. Goff 1-1. Baker 1-1. Stafford 1-1. Love is 126.
So
37, 263.
So 4 of the playoff teams.
I don't know if we can
had
really count
5 or
Flacco
better,
in that.
right? And frankly, I don't think you can count Baker in that because he's played on like 17 teams since he was drafted 1-1. But
all I need to say is Sam's not going anywhere. It's not like we're saying
let him be the backup.
He can't compete. He can compete for the starting position. Let him compete.
I mean,
but you have to draft.
You don't have to.
You don't. And the point we haven't even brought up.
Of these 3 QBs that are coming in from this draft, you have to draft one of them. You just have to do it.
If I'm following a team's plan and a team's blueprint, I'll take the team that's playing on Sunday, who has a quarterback that was the last pick of the draft,
Stevie.
that have an incredible coach, Oh, and our left tackle, our first round draft pick left tackle, who's opening holes for a running back they got from wherever, because you can get a running back from wherever.
You wouldn't take the other team that's a dynasty that drafted a quarterback in the first who was coached by Kliff Kingsbury?
It's very risky.
How?
It's very risky.
Have the same guy
You guys were
Mahomes.
2 weeks ago. You were calling for Kirk Cousins to replace.
Don't quote me to me, okay?
You guys were calling Kirk Cousins to replace Brock Purdy if he had one bad throw. Okay.
I mean,
You have a guy who made Mahomes in college on your staff.
I mean,
the Chiefs are a dynasty for one reason and one reason alone. That is Patrick Mahomes.
If it was guaranteed that Caleb Williams is Patrick Mahomes, I would agree with you 1,000%.
If Kliff Kingsbury, who coached both of them, has said, yes, they are identical, and he is on your staff.
No, I mean,
are you going to tell me Kliff doesn't know what he's talking about?
All right, somebody get Dave Portnoy to sell this guy's Snapchat stocks, okay?
What is this?
Okay, can we go back to Dan Quinn? Because I think that was original. The one thing I want to say about his press conference that I really admired is he is hungry. He's been waiting for He's been waiting for this moment.
He's been waiting for like 5 minutes. What was making a big deal?
What does that even mean, Razzle?
He was just in the Super Bowl coaching like the 3 seasons ago. What are you talking about?
He was the Atlanta Falcons coach. Took him to the Super Bowl, lost Kyle. Things kind of went downhill after that. He made a lot of mistakes. Spent 3 years as defensive coordinator. He was being talked about a head coach every offseason. Okay, he was waiting for the right opportunity. Found this. I appreciate that he's made the decisions that he's made. Finding an offensive coach who could just manage the offense, bringing in a defensive coordinator who's going to call defensive plays, so that way we don't have to see him try to figure out what to call and calling timeouts and fumbling the whole game plan and the game management. He's going to be focused on coaching the team. He's going to trust the front office that they have in place to pick the right players.
Sounds like the guy who
left.
No, the guy who just left was trying to go grocery shopping and cook dinner.
Yeah, it's okay.
This guy's just trying to cook dinner. All right, and he's got guys.
I mean, if I'm Dan Quinn and these guys are interviewing me, I look at them and I say, look at the Cowboys defense. Look at how we've strategically used draft picks on the defensive side of the ball. Look at the caliber of players we have drafted. And I would really just point at Parsons and say, like, look what I made this guy. Right. And I think like that, when I really started to think about Quinn from that perspective, like, yeah, I think he's going to be okay. Like, I think he's going to be okay here because Dallas, like, those were not big names before they were drafted and really before they played together. Right. And a lot of that I think has to be credited to
Parsons was.
Perhaps, right? But Diggs, Diggs was not like a super high pick, not super lauded. And defensively, that scheme that Dallas runs, if that's Joe Witt's program or, if that's his secondary, man, like we need that desperately here, right? And I kind of like that this guy's been around for 100 years and nobody knows who he is, right? That means he's just somebody who's just doing his job.
The thing you have to take out of the whole Quinn presser is it was very tangible. You could very clearly see it. He was way more excited to come to this team than this fan base was to accept him. Outside of me, I accepted him immediately. The rest of you suckers all hated it.
Well, I mean, can you blame anybody? I mean,
I blame all of you.
We had weeks of
I blame all of you for having Snyder PTSD and drinking the media Kool-Aid, where Peters very clearly and Harris said, we want a leader. And it's just the way they look at Quinn, the way they talk to Quinn, the way they interact. I don't think outside of the brain trust that was doing the interviews that Ben Johnson ever really had a real chance. And I think Quinn was always one of their guys. Now, there's all the drama with it that we don't have to get into, but I truly think that the front office is very excited for Quinn, and Quinn is even more excited to be here. And when you see what he talks about with his time in Atlanta and doing the 360 and looking for all the blind spots around him.
Blah, blah, blah.
You need to go back and watch some Ron Rivera pressers because Ron Rivera was very quick to pass the buck and not accept blame and not think that he could grow.
Okay, Dan Quinn is an adult. Okay, great. Yes. That's fine.
Ron Rivera was not an adult.
Well,
Ron Rivera was
Ron also saw
blaming
himself
media.
as Ron. I don't know. Like 15 or 20 years from now, are we going to look back at Ron the way we look back at like Spurrier?
Jim
the
Zorn.
old ball coach,
Look
and be
at
like,
Ron and compare him to Jim Zorn.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron went through a difficult time personally and professionally. Was going through, I don't want to make excuses, but like we had the ownership change, we had 2 name changes underneath Ron. Like there was a lot of things, and obviously the personal things.
He also drafted a long snapper and cut a kicker.
No,
for
you
reason.
can't make any.
I'm just saying he was supposed to be a
There's also a
transitionary
rumor-
figure.
Sure.
That the NFL forced Ron on the Redskins, and they forced Snyder to hire Ron because they're like, you need to stabilize this franchise. You need to bring somebody in that is well respected across the league. And it was not a welcomed relationship the way it is with Quinn now. It
that was late early
relationship.
on. That came. I mean, we heard that a couple of times early on in Rivera's tenure as well. But I mean, look, Quinn's here, and Kliff is here. Joe Witt is here.
To be here.
Like, this is I mean, it's all eyes. To me, it's now how reckless or aggressive do you want to be with that second overall pick, right? Is there really a drop off between Caleb and whoever else? Like, I mean, these are the questions, and honestly, like, this is what they're getting paid for. This is to evaluate. I can't imagine that Peters or I can't imagine that any of the new people at Redskins Park in the building are looking at the Redskins scouting department and saying, like, give us your feedback. Like, they must already kind of know, like,
they're keeping the scouting department.
We're going after Caleb, baby.
I mean, they're keeping them, but are they listening to them given how poorly they've evaluated talent over the last couple of years? Like,
why would you keep them if you don't listen to them?
Well, because you don't have enough time necessarily, maybe to finish poaching out of Dallas.
I think the scouting department is fine. I think it was the idiots taking in the information from them from the previous regime. We're not taking it incorrectly.
Did you happen to see the clip of Ron and JDR talking about drafting Forbes? Did you see that clip?
Was it?
I saw it.
It was infuriating. Like,
it was infuriating.
There was like 15 people involved with drafting Emmanuel Forbes. It's not his fault, right? But like, it went all the way down to JDR.
They were so excited.
They were so, and ultimately it was Ron just asking Jay, like, do you want this guy or that guy? It was JDR's call at the end of it, right?
Joe, is that Sleepy Joe on your TV behind you?
So
Peters. That's the press conference.
No, that's DQ.
Okay. I thought it was when Sleepy Joe said he met with the president who died in 1996.
The French president. Yeah.
He teleported from Germany to France. Hey,
Listen, they're
France right though. Like he fixed the location, but then he got the wrong person from 30 years ago. He was the wrong person.
That scouting department. Listen, the scouting department.
We got to talk about. We got to talk about the president for a second. We got to talk about the president. You brought him up.
Super Bowl week, brand new head coach.
You have to feel bad for this guy.
I do not.
No.
I think that's the only response towards Joe Biden at this point is like he's an old man and he deserves.
He's going to be gone in a month. Don't feel bad.
Joe Biden and Chase Young sit in the same corner of my brain.
Okay,
give no
take it easy.
All right, Chase Young. Can we talk about the game on Sunday?
We can talk about the game on Sunday, but I want to get final thoughts. Stevie, anything else from you on the Dan? You can. I mean, I don't know. I'm just happy that you're here. You're listening to the Dan Quinn and Kliff.
Kudos to the Redskins PR staff because they fooled FP and Razzle into thinking they got their guy when they were left at the altar by the guy they actually wanted.
Did anyone see
turn it into a win?
Did you see the Schefter clip of him trashing Ben Johnson?
He's in the pockets of Josh Harris.
For sure.
And McAfee called him out on
it. The same way he was boys with Shanny back in the days.
It also seems like Magic was involved with the Kliff signing.
Yeah.
Well, the rumor was that
Stephen A. Smith
Raiders weren't going to give him a 3-year contract.
Stephen A. Smith is I don't know where I don't know how he can. Him and John Feinstein need to have like a
John
Feinstein drives me insane. This guy's whole premise for
where does he exist?
He exists on the dust every Friday morning at 8 a.m. for the last 45 years.
It's appointment radio for me. Like I never miss a segment with Feinstein.
I hate his segment. I skip it every time.
But I've also read the majority of the first half of his terrible book about take a knee and raise a fist. Like his entire premise for Eric Bieniemy being a head coach is that Eric Bieniemy is black. It has nothing to do with merit whatsoever.
Yeah, welcome to ESPN.
But it's infuriating that he doesn't see the reverse racism that he's out here championing equality and chances and whatever. Eric Bieniemy stunk as a coordinator. Like if there was any doubt about him, like maybe he didn't interview well, maybe he didn't get a chance, but he got a chance here under an inept head coach, and he did nothing with it. So, like, all these people today that are like, oh, you can't do that to EB and blah, blah, blah. Why? Like, just like anyone else. He didn't perform. He's out. That's it. That's
Joe,
it.
You're not allowed to have this conversation for another 24 days, okay?
Okay. You want to shift to the big game, Razzie? I know you got some prop bets you want to talk through, but I do have – okay. There's two things. Before we do prop bets and other stuff, I want to go around the table and just get everyone's knee-jerk reaction, pick, like your gut pick. Stevie, I'll go back to you. You said it. You called it at the jump here just in case the Tucker interview drops. Who you picking and why? Give me a score, too.
Niners 31-28. I think that running game – Kansas. Oh, I'm gonna come. I got facts. Kansas City Chiefs, 31st in the league in zone rush defense. San Francisco 49ers, number 1 team zone rush offense. I think that a running attack, you give Kyle 2 weeks to come up with a game plan. First 15 plays scripted. I think San Francisco offense is going to be too much, and I think the defense will do enough to slow down Kansas City. And I think Chiefs don't have enough weapons on offense. Mahomes' magic is going to run out, and I think they're going to get after him. Not with what is he number now? 92? No, with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner and the other boys are going to get after him.
Razzie, who you got?
I'm torn because I can make the case for both teams. I can make the case. This is the Niners year. They're all healthy. You know, they've got everyone in place, and they've been, waiting for this moment for redemption for 4 years. But I just can't bet against Patty Mahomes. I can't, until he is knocked off and, until he is shown that he's not able to get it done, I can't bet against him. And taking him plus, I think the line's right now is at 2.5 as an underdog and plus money on the money line. I have to. Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, the way they game plan, the way they manage the game. This is not the same Kansas City Chiefs from 4 years ago. This is let's get a lead and let's hold on to the ball. Let's run the ball with Isaiah Pacheco. There's not the big play Kansas City Chiefs.
The running game has been surprising. What's the score?
Yeah, that's why I put a prop bet on Isaiah Pacheco being Super Bowl MVP because I think they're going to run the ball. I think it's going to be a lower score game.
What's the score?
20-17 Chiefs.
All right, you both got them within 3. FP.
The only offensive mind better than Kyle Shanahan is Andy Reid. And I'm going with Andy Reid over Kyle for the Super Bowl. And I think you're going to get a Chiefs offense that comes out that is not anything the Niners have prepared for. And I think Mahomes' magic will not run out. And I think he will show the weaknesses of that secondary defense for the Niners. And his escapability will keep him safe from Bosa and from Chase and from all those guys. But I'm going 27-23 Chiefs.
You guys got it close too. So I started out the week thinking I'm going with Patrick Mahomes. He's elite. Andy Reid is a better coach than Kyle. He's got time to scheme something up. And the 49ers looked less impressive in their Super Bowl run to me than the Chiefs did. The Chiefs knocked off, I think the Chiefs faced tougher competition, and I think they're even with a less talented roster, they're just better. And they've been doing it for so long, and the stage is kind of set for them to continue this kind of dynasty run. However, to me, it feels like shades of Giants, Patriots. When the first time around, when nobody really had a good file on Eli in the playoffs, and it took a couple magical plays to kind of get it done. I'm looking at the 49ers and I'm saying, all right, okay, Mahomes is better than Purdy, and it's by a lot. But the Niners are better at every offensive skill position, including tight end, than the Chiefs are.
Playoff Kelsey is not the same as
Oh my God!
I mean, I knew that was coming, but look, okay.
Playoff Kelsey, he leads.
Even if they're a push, Razzle. Even if they're a push, McCaffrey is 3x better than anyone on.
Razzle's fallen for the Taylor Swift thing. He literally has bought it.
I'm all in on the narrative. I'm all in on the script. NFL Goodell was drooling on
The receivers
stage the other day, talking about how many more people are going to watch the Super Bowl because of Taylor.
Yeah, because no one watched football before Taylor Swift. I mean,
no more. I mean, they're talking about 200 million people watching the Super Bowl.
I know, but like, it was 150 before it was not enough. But I'm just saying the 49ers are better at every skill position with the exception of quarterback. Okay. And on defense, I think you could argue
kind of a big position.
Oh, I agree.
Brock
agree.
Purdy against that Chiefs secondary. He's not going to. It doesn't matter how good Debo is. It doesn't matter how good any of them are.
I think
Brock's not going to be able to make those passes.
The wild card for me was Brock running. I think in the
he made plays. Brock made plays.
He can. Yeah, I mean that was really surprising. I mean, I think now it's on paper. You know, now they got like. But McCaffrey, if McCaffrey goes for 150, there's no game, right?
But it's funny that you say shades of Giants versus Patriots because
it was Tiki Barber. It was
but you also had the Giants were the low seed going against the 1 seed, and
that was the year.
Who's running that Giants defense?
Spags.
Yeah.
And Spag is running the defense of the lower seed against the 1 seed. Yeah, so I mean, if anything's shades of Giants versus Patriots, it's Chiefs.
I think I mean, obviously Vegas has the game at 2.5 and the line hasn't moved. I mean, pretty much all week. And I think all the money's going to continue to come in basically 50-50. It's a push game. You know, I think there's a prop bet in there. We could switch here and talk about props in a second. That it was 350 plus 350 that the game is decided on a field goal. That's my prop. That's the one that I would take. I like that one. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. It's not picking a winner. It's just 350 that the game ends as time expires with a field goal. I like it because I think it's going to be literally that close. It's one fumble. It's one bad decision with, a roughing the passer or something from it. It just feels like Chase Young is going to do something stupid, and the Chiefs are going to get those extra 15 yards and be able to win at as the gun goes off. I don't know. That's my team.
Non-football take. I don't know how you listen to Brock Purdy and you don't fall in love with this kid. I mean,
he's a good kid.
The chasm between him and Mahomes. Okay,
Mahomes. A lot of the Mahomes, like it's not him. Like his dad being a drunk, and can you imagine?
Yeah,
imagine
big distraction. That's
12 drunk driving arrests. 12. Like, how is that possible?
Come on, Joe. You saw all the memes. You know, he just didn't want to sit in a suite with Jackson and Brittany and Taylor.
Hold on, but like in the real world, like how can you do that? And how can it not be a distraction for?
It's a huge distraction. That's
it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
But he's mastered winning Super Bowls with distractions.
Like which is my not to take make it all about football, but that distraction hanging.
Please do. It's a sports podcast.
Yeah, it's a sports podcast. But I'm saying that distraction hanging over Mahomes' head throughout the week, it's going to impact his game planning. It's going to impact his performance. That's my concern.
Are we doing Super Bowl MVP bets?
I got 4 in right now.
301.
Yeah,
I would tell you guys.
I'm excited about Darnold. I don't understand. Like, are we anticipating injury and takeover? Is that what we're betting?
Yeah.
You got fair weather fans like 20 that are done with Purdy but love the team.
Remind me,
they all want Darnold to come in.
Darnold was a 1-1, right?
Yes.
It's good. He's the backup.
Yeah, so I actually thought that Sam Darnold winning MVP is like the biggest liability for the sports books.
There's one prop bet that is very enticing. It's a plus 16,000, and it's Debo Samuel and Pacheco to combine for 250 rushing yards.
I'll put it in right now.
That's a lot of yards.
There you go.
But
they're both going to rip 125 yards.
Rushing only.
It's just rushing yards. If you're gonna tell me the Chiefs are gonna come out run heavy with Pacheco and he gets 130, 140, you don't think you could see Debo rip off a 75-yarder, 80-yarder?
Rushing
yards.
Is that on FanDuel, FB?
Because he doesn't.
Yeah, FanDuel.
When he's lined up as a running back, it's usually like 3-4 yards out from the end zone. It's not.
Dude, I'll give you sneaky MVP, not Sam Darnold. Give me Fred Warner. If he ends up with
will never get MVP.
Hey, if he ends up with like 15 tackles and an interception return for a touchdown,
or just an interception at a big moment, Malcolm Butler type situation, right? Just a pick
exactly.
and roll.
I was going to go Darren Woodson, but
win was the 2013 Super Bowl 2013 Super Bowl with Malcolm Smith, the linebacker for the Seahawks, which is actually just take us back. That's the first Super Bowl that we all bet on. Was that Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl?
Why?
Actually,
We go all in on Peyton. He got whooped.
We went all in on Peyton. We got whooped. Yeah, like first snap went to the end zone. We were screwed.
Oh, you're talking about the account, the original account.
When we started the original count, but we started it on that Super Bowl.
God, I'm tracking now. It was Bovado. It was offshore.
Bovada.
Don't mention that, and don't say that our first big hit was me with the slam dunk competition with John Wall.
Where is John Wall? Why isn't he a Wizard again?
He's trying to get a spot. He was trying to get a backup point guard spot in Phoenix. They didn't take him.
I mean, shouldn't the Wizards sign him? Like, can he be any worse than what they have right now on the field?
It's pretty bad.
It's so bad. I mean, it's
pretty bad. And the worst part is we're gonna have to start talking about it next week.
I mean, primetime Stevie could have been starting 5 for the Wizards right now.
GW Colonials.
Just jacks up threes and then complains that no one's doing something.
That's exactly what the Wizards do.
I mean, you got to hit one every once in a while if you're going to complain.
Oh, look at these guys. What place were you 2007? Don't make me get Pat Youssef on this podcast, okay?
3-point champ right here. 3-point champ. And speaking of our boy Pat Youssef across the pond, he's leading like a rec team. Did you see that? The guy's averaging like 26 points in a house league. He's
no, but I think it's a league for mentally handicapped people.
Hey, good for him. I think you're right. He's playing against people in wheelchairs, but he's doing great. He's doing great. I mean, he's out there. He's still balling. I mean,
Razzle, Pacheco first TD, Rashi Rice last TD plus 8,000.
There you go. We're gonna make FP. You're not gonna see FPNI next week because we're gonna be on vacation. All right, from all these wins.
What? There was
all these bets.
I don't know about are you parlaying all this stuff, or these are just singles, one-offs?
Singles, yeah.
Recently, our buddy Andy was telling me that parlays are for suckers. Like you stop with the parlays. Just bet big on straight bets. No more parlays.
I'm gonna hit a correct score parlay one day.
I've been trying ever since you've been sending them in the online chat.
I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna hit it one day.
I mean, can you put in a bet for me, Razzle? Can we do first quarter 10-10?
First quarter correct scores. I will say that might be the move because you hit on one of them. You hit
10,
on the
that means you're assuming 4 scoring possessions in the first quarter.
Yeah, I could do 10-7 also. 7-7, 10-10, 13-13. I think maybe
I could see each team do a touchdown and a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, there's
just
so many
a lot of score. That's 4 scoring drives in the first quarter.
I will say
in a game that I think both teams are going to try to control the ball.
Historically, Super Bowls tend to start very slow.
Yeah.
There was also a prop for 5 field goals in the first half. It was I think it was plus 650. It wasn't bad.
Nah, the Niners like to score early and then collapse.
I don't. I mean, do you think either team gets over 30 points? Is anyone good over 30 in this one? I think those defenses are too good.
I think it's gonna be a low scoring game.
What is the future? We'll get out on this. What is the futures bet on the Commanders to the Super Bowl next season?
Oh, they already got it for.
What's the early line? 20?
I'll put $100 on it right now.
I mean, if they got a playoff, if they have Commanders to the playoffs, we should do it.
Plus 15,000.
At default, Dallas will be worse without their
plus 15,000.
I mean, it's worth $100. I'm in. Do it. $100.
All right, you might need to fund my account. Struggling right now.
Well, it's our account, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't been bought out yet. So,
done.
Stevie, any final thoughts? Looks like you're
the interview with
Tucker started.
He's on Tucker's Twitter right now.
Yeah, the guy opened up his headphones.
Alex Jones and Andrew Tate on one screen, and he's I got it. Yeah. Tucker.
No, I'll let you know when the Tucker thing drops.
I mean, this is the most excited I've seen you for an interview. I mean, this is
dude. It's apparently going to change how we view. I've said the Ukraine war is the biggest grift in American politics, bigger than the Iraq war. It'll come out when all's said and done. It is the biggest grift.
Yeah, we're just wasting money on it. That's why.
Razzie, any final thoughts? Which war would you like to talk about?
No, we need another podcast.
Hey, Razzle's talking about one that's going on right now.
We're talking about a waste of money.
Which war is on your mind? That could be our closing segment.
No, I mean, I don't want to get too much into
politics. Oh, come on, Razzle. Make some news here, okay?
No, I mean, just
we don't have any Israeli sponsors. What do you care?
I mean, this podcast will be disappear off of Facebook if you get me to talk about.
Razzie, what happens if FanDuel sends some of their money to Israel?
Yeah. All right. They'll
are you not supporting any Jewish restaurants?
Take it easy. We're gonna go
stop going to Starbucks and McDonald's. That's your question.
Did you?
Yeah.
You cut out Starbucks.
Pretty much. If you look at what I was doing before October
he looks thinner.
Who runs Starbucks? Howard Schultz? No. The Jews?
I don't know, but a lot of their money goes to support this war.
To Israel.
McDonald's. Not even Zara, a place that I haven't bought clothes there from there in a while, but they're out.
Real close. Cute girls come out of that store though.
Yeah. No.
Lululemon's okay.
I don't know. Let me check.
I feel like they look like they support Israelis.
Yeah.
Is that where you get your Mike McDaniels pants from?
I mean,
the women's petite steps.
I was trying to meet up with Joe. I had the pants ready. I was waiting for Joe today.
FP, which war would you like to talk about?
FP versus Chase Young.
FP
versus Chase Young, maybe.
It's bad for your health, FP. It's bad for your health.
Piece of trash.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see what happens. We I hope our streak continues here, boys. We did almost 20 weeks straight here. We just pumped out 20 episodes here, week after week after week. It's been a good run. I think definitely we need to be back in here. At least the week leading up to the draft, we could probably do some Wizards and Capitals.
We got to do some Wizard stuff. We got.
Hey, asshole! Baseball's starting. Don't just stop when baseball's starting.
We're sending you down. Oh, by the way, for anyone that's still into the Nats, Stevie's on his way down to. Yeah. I mean, Stevie. Okay, Stevie's gonna get.
I know nobody cares about this, but we have NBA All-Star Weekend coming up next weekend, and the NBA trade deadline coming up this week.
Where's the Black Super Bowl?
Ooh, I don't know.
What is the Black Super Bowl?
What is Charlotte?
Come on, Joe. They call the NBA All-Star game Black Super Bowl.
I had no idea. Why is Bronny James only averaging 5 points a game? Isn't he supposed to be amazing? He's playing 20 minutes and averaging 5 points. I can't do it.
With his dad.
No, the NBA. Oh, God, it's so sad because I grew up loving.
Oh, it's in Indianapolis.
And the brothers.
Oh man, that's gonna be the most black people in Indianapolis. My goodness.
Although the Indy airport did do something cool. Did you see when they put the Pacers? They put a basketball court in the airport.
Yeah,
I loved it. People
TSA agents must have loved it.
They were just playing pickup in the airport, like between flights. It's kind of good, but I liked it. Okay. All right, boys. Thank you for hanging out, Stevie. Thank you for making time. Good luck with the Tucker and Putin.
FP and I both, by the way, made time too for this podcast. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, FP, thank you for making time and delaying the start of Fortnite and Hookah. I appreciate you coming and sharing your thoughts. I hope your prop bets hit. Razzie, thank you, sir, for coming and hanging out with us and for turning your mic on and the camera and wearing the work undershirt. It's very nice of you. Thank you. And listen, to everyone listening, show's available anywhere you get your podcast. DTC, just search Defeating the Curse. Like, follow, interact as you so choose. We'll be back hopefully next week. We'll recap the Super Bowl. We're gonna try to get our friend Adam on the show here probably next week or the week after as well. He hosts Middays in Richmond. It'd be nice to talk to him. It's been a while. Otherwise, until next time, we are out. Thank you for hanging out with us, DTC.